Good afternoon, gentleman and lady. There has to be at least one lady here, I assume. Maybe. Probably not. Anyway, welcome to my show. The name of the show is not yet determined. I like to do things backwards, as you will probably be able to tell. Today, we're going to start off with episode 1 of a series I'm going to call Personal Paranormal. It's stories that come from me directly, stuff that's happened to me, stuff I've seen, stuff I've experienced, and people who are generally close to me, close family, close friends. Today, I'm going to give you my story, probably my first real experience with the paranormal. The first thing that made me start believing, and I wouldn't even say believing. I don't think it actually made me say, oh yes, ghosts are real. It was more of just this thing that I couldn't explain what happened. It was weird, and you'll see why. Anyway, this happened probably, about 8 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago now. Gee, I'm old. I'm getting so old, guys. Anyway, I was 16 because I know I was driving at the time. I was in high school, and we ended up talking at school about hanging out with some friends of ours that were girls, and of course, yes, we're trying to impress the girls. We get there, the girls have a Ouija board. Okay, we'll play along. Yeah, the girls are all scared of it. Yeah, we're gonna get somebody needs a hug because they're scared. That type of thing. Creepy, as teenage boys tend to be. Anyway, stuff happens. The Ouija board moves a little bit. We're pretty sure that one of our friends was the one moving it the entire time. The girls get scared, and one of them, who was super religious, tells us, get this away, take it, burn it in a field. Us being the teenage boys that we were, we just took it and decided we were going to keep it forever because they didn't want it anymore. And we took it back to my friend's house. And we were staying the night over there. There were about 6 of us all together. And we played with the Ouija board on and off all night. We lost interest in it after somebody broke out Call of Duty on Xbox. But everybody eventually kind of went to bed and started parting ways. 2 people went downstairs and were watching a movie. Some of us stayed upstairs and were still playing Call of Duty. And then everybody kind of trickled away to where it was just me and one of my other friends left. And me and him were just kind of goofing around. And we decided we were going to use the Ouija board again. Why not? So we start using it, and the general, what you assume 2 teenage boys would do with a Ouija board when they didn't really believe in ghosts in general happened. We would ask the spirits, is Zergle gay? And it would somehow just magically move to yes. It was crazy. It was like the ghosts just knew at that age that I was going to turn out gay. Anyway, back and forth, me and him just basically talking shit to each other through a Ouija board for about 30 minutes. Finally, things got a little awkward because we got a weird name at one point, and my friend claimed that he wasn't the one doing it, and I know I wasn't doing it. So the name, we were, again, just asking, we're like, hey, dude, we're going to be serious now. Are there any spirits here? And, of course, we waited a little bit, and all of a sudden this name came out. It was Sarah, Sara. I thought he was doing it, he thought I was doing it, and it became apparent over time that neither of us was doing it. It probably was a ghost, or some sort of something. So what happened was, it spells this name out, and my friend, who thinks I'm the one just spelling it out, decides to play along anyway, and I decide to play along with him, and it's like, are you a good ghost? And it went to no. Okay. Are you the devil? And it went to no, thankfully. Oh, thank God. And things just kind of got weird. We started feeling weird. Set this up for you, we were using it in my friend's bathroom, which I know that seems like the weirdest place to do it, but my friend's bathroom was the darkest room in the house, and there were no lights on. Nobody was on a TV or anything. So we were just in there, and the Ouija board glowed in the dark, so that added to the ambiance of it all. That's what we wanted, spooky scaries, right? So we're in this bathroom, and this bathroom setup, it parallels my friend's bedroom to where it's basically 2 rectangles right beside each other, and the bathroom rectangle is divided in half because the other half is a closet, right? So you just look on the if you just walked in, you'd look to the right side, and there's a closet door. And it's a pretty big closet, and it was a pretty big bathroom. I mean, it was my rich friend, so he had everything. It was bigger than my house. So we started hearing noises coming from the closet, and my friend's house is actually was basically a disgusting hellhole. Even though they were wealthy, they were just the most disgusting people in some ways. At least he was. His parents were pretty clean, but God, his room. We thought maybe his dog got in the closet. That had happened before. We thought maybe it was cockroaches got in his closet somehow. We didn't know. It was just this weird, faint scratching noise at first. And I remember at one point my friend, he kept looking at me weird, and we could kind of see each other a little bit over the Ouija board. It was glowing pretty bright. I could see his face a little bit. And we had a candle going because more ambiance, right? Almost romantic in a way. We were, his face just kept getting weird, and he finally just said, "Hey, stop touching me." And to prove to him that I wasn't touching him, I scooted away to the back of the bathroom towards the closet. And then we kept going on for about 30 minutes, because 30 more minutes, because things kind of got interesting, right? So we're hanging out, still asking questions, and I've moved away, and over time the Ouija board, that glow-in-the-dark paint doesn't hold the glow very long, so about 30 minutes in, it's starting to get fainter, fainter, and to the point where now we can't really see each other in the dark. The candle isn't really lighting his face because he's facing an odd direction between the bathtub and the toilet and the portal to the netherworld that we just opened. Normal kid stuff. He freaks out on me. And he was at this point kind of using the Ouija board alone, and he'd been doing it, and it was moving for him on his own. And I'm still thinking that he's fucking around, right? I'm still thinking he's joking and he's whatever. He freaks out and screams, "Bro, why did you touch my dick? That's gay." I said, "Hey, I'm over here on the other side of the bathroom. I didn't touch you. I promise. And I especially wouldn't touch you there." He then, it's pretty apparent at that point that he's having a bad time. He's scared. Nothing has happened to me yet. We'll get to that in a brief moment. Nothing's happened to me yet. So I move closer to him because I'm about to just shut this whole thing down. I'm like, "Dude, you're being a freaking drama queen. Let's just cut this out and go to bed, right?" As I think this, which couldn't have been more than 30 seconds after he freaks out and tells me that I'm touching his penis from about 10 feet away, I get cold, as ghosts tend to do. They make the room cold, apparently. But that isn't what freaked me out. What freaked me out was I heard a woman sigh from behind me. It sounded like a female or a small child go, I'm so sorry about your eardrums, if that hurt your eardrums. Oh my god. I see the wavelengths on my computer. Shit. Anyway, I hear a woman sigh behind me, and that freaks me out too. So now at this point, we're both freaking out, and we flipped the Ouija board over. I don't know why we thought that would have any effect whatsoever. We flipped the Ouija board over and run out of the bathroom and shut the door. At this point, we're out, and we're thinking, "Wow, that was crazy, man. That was crazy." We're starting to get kind of, we're excited now. We're less scared. We're more excited. It's like, "Bro, we just had a ghost experience, bro. That's the best thing ever. So cool, bro. Awesome." We said "bro" a lot. We realized that one of our other friends had come in and gone to bed, and for some odd reason we weren't waking him up, and that's when we kind of decided to quiet down. So we didn't wake him up. If our freaking out about ghosts hadn't woken him up already, we should probably just not wake him up anyway, or try any harder than we were. So we get kind of quiet, so we're over there in the corner. Oh my god, it was so cool. It was so cool. But we start hearing the scratching on the walls again. And it gets weird because, like I said, it's two rectangles. From the far right side of the rectangle, that would have been the back of the closet, we hear like somebody scratching along the wall towards the bathroom door. And we didn't hear the closet door open or anything, but you could hear it transfer from inside the closet to inside the bathroom. And my friend's first reaction, of course, was to run and grab the bathroom door and hold it closed. Me, why not? So I try to grab onto the bathroom door, can't get a good hold on it. So I'm just kind of standing there telling him, "Hey, dude, it's probably just cockroaches, right? This place is disgusting. It's probably just cockroaches, right?" The door starts being pulled from the other side. Now, you guys can call bullshit on this. I don't care. Call bullshit all you want. At least it's an entertaining story, right? This happened. I don't know how to prove it any other way, other than to tell the story and laugh about it now, 10 years later. Bathroom door starts getting pulled. My friend is for a 16-year-old, a very large man, boy, pretty big guy, about 6 feet tall, probably weighs about 180, big strong guy. He's having trouble holding the door shut. Me and my panic, not knowing what to do, and my 16-year-old, 5'8", 100-pound self at 16, I grab onto his waist and start pulling. Me and him are both screaming for our friend in the bed to wake up. He doesn't wake up, which is weird because this guy's normally a very light sleeper. He's normally the friend at the sleepover that if you're up talking to your buddies, he's up bitching at you, telling you to shut the hell up. He won't wake up, and we're screaming and screaming, trying to get somebody to come help us. Nobody comes, nobody hears anything. Finally, the door stops being pulled from the other side, and it wasn't like you see in the movies where the door handle's jiggling and the door's like, I don't know how to explain it, where the door itself is like being opened a little bit, like it's shaking, like you hear noise. It was just this weird pulling that we couldn't stop, and the door handle itself wasn't being turned. It was just like the door could just kind of open and close. I don't know how that happened because we didn't allow the door handle to move, or at least I assume we didn't, and it was still being able, like, pulling, and it would go a little bit past and we pull it just a little bit shut. It wasn't this violent back and forth. It was just very steady, pulling back a little bit, and we would pull as hard as we could, and it would very gently close back. Finally, that stops, and we let go, kind of back off, and at this point, we really want to freak out and run downstairs, but downstairs is really dark. The hallway that you have to take to get to the stairs is really dark, and at this point, we're two 16-year-olds that have basically shit and pissed our pants. So we do the next best thing, which is hide under the covers of my friend who owns the house's bed, or lives in the house. My friend's bed, he has 2 beds in his room for some odd reason. It was a weird room. We decide to hide in the other bed, and me and my friend are cuddled together under a blanket, freaking the fuck out. So at this point, nothing really happens for a while. But then what we start hearing again is that odd scratching noise, but this time it's more violent, I guess you could say. Instead of it being like somebody is very lightly dragging their hand across the wall, like their nails across the wall, or maybe they've got like a car key in their hand going down the wall. It's more like somebody's actually trying to scratch through the wall in one spot, and we start hearing stuff in the closet fall. I shit you not. Stuff in the closet starts falling. Nothing in the bathroom, but just stuff in the closet. It sounds like there's like a miniature earthquake in there. There's not necessarily a rumbling sound, but it sounded like I guess a washing machine, like just going fucking crazy in there. And the scratching on one portion of the wall. We freak out. My friend jumps up and thinks, shit, I'm gonna hold the door closed again. I stay where I am, and I kind of reach across the bed and start slapping our friend who's asleep. I'm slapping this guy in the face. And as I'm telling you this, even though you can't see me, I'm making a slapping motion with my hands because I talk with my hands. He won't wake up. Finally, I don't know how long it lasted. It couldn't have been more than a minute of just this craziness. It all stopped. And we looked at the clock, and it was already almost 5 a.m. at this point. So we just kind of hid under the covers for a little bit. And the sun came up, and when the sun came up, first thing we did was run downstairs. We didn't say bye to anybody. We didn't say, hey, your house is haunted now, sorry. We ran outside and jumped in my car and drove home. I drove him to his apartment, and I drove home and went straight to bed. And that was about it. Or so we would think. Didn't end there. We're hanging out with that friend who was asleep, and he keeps telling us a story about he had a dream that night. And in his dream, he really wanted to wake up, but he couldn't. And mind you, this is the first time we talked to him. This was it happened on a Saturday night. We didn't see him again until Tuesday at school because he wasn't there Monday for whatever reason. So we didn't see him until Tuesday, and he just started telling us, man, I had this weird dream, and it really bothered me. Told us there was a woman in his dream. Well, we don't know if her name was Sarah, of course, but Sarah, woman in a dream, and not being able to wake up even though you really want to, and on the outside we're trying to wake you up. That's a one hell of a coincidence that I would be willing to bet maybe it's connected. So that he tells us that, and we start telling the friend who lives in the house. We're telling him, hey man, this weird stuff happened, weird this, weird that, this, that, and the other happened, man, it was crazy. He tells us we're stupid and that we're not allowed to use the Ouija board at his house anymore because it turns us into little girls. Well, that same week, about Thursday, I get a text at night from that friend, and I'm like, dude, why are you texting me? It's late. We have to go to school tomorrow. It's going to be. He's telling me that his closet that he finally went into for the first time was trashed, and now he's hearing noises all over his house. He's home alone, and he's hearing people walking on the ceiling, as he put it. I don't want to know what that sounded like to him, but for a while that would continue where he would call me and something weird would be happening at his house. Then at my house, within at least a couple of hours or less, sometimes it would even happen at the same time, something weird would happen at my house. I remember a night that he called me and told me, hey, I'm hearing a woman in my closet. It sounds like a woman just very, very, very softly talking. I can't tell what she's saying. It just sounds like mumbling. I'm laying there in bed reading this text message, kind of freaking out a little bit. My laptop, which was on a desk right in front of my bed, so where I was sitting up on my bed, I could see my laptop. My laptop just turns on. And that was pretty freaky. And that shit continued for about a year. That continued until me and that friend had a falling out and stopped hanging out together to where we didn't go to his house anymore. And once we all stopped getting together at his house, everything just kind of poofed. It was weird. It was like it was somehow connected to all of us being together. I can't explain that either. It was weird. It was weird to say the least. There's some more stuff connected to this story. I've let this go on for almost 20 minutes. This was my first real episode I've made in a long time. I've told this story before online, and I've also made an actual podcast episode about this story, but I lost it, so I'm redoing it. I'm going to see where this goes. My name's Zergle. That's the name I will be going by as my podcast persona, I guess you could say. If you like this, please let me know. And if there's anything you think I could change, if the sound quality isn't up to your expectations, anything like that, let me know. As I said, there's some more stuff kind of connected to this story that I will go over at a later date because it kind of goes off into a different story that would be a different set of topics, really, that I would like to address later on. So for now, I'm Zergle. I'm signing out. Oh, that's so lame to say.